Hi there. I hope everyone had a nice holiday break. I haven't made any new videos since late November, and it's already early January. So I felt I owed you guys a long-form schedule video to cover the status of my channel and what my goals are. This breaks down to near-term goals, middle-term, and long-term. Near term is everything I'm going to be putting out in this frantic week building up to Dunk and Egg now that viewership is tuning in for January 18th on the premiere. I am going to be dumping a lot of content. Stuff I've been working on over all of Christmas break. Middle term is what I plan to do for the rest of 2026, the year ahead. Long term are my vague goals beyond that. Near term, I have 3 things I wanted to get done before Dunk and Egg started. State of the industry news from the potential sale of Warner Brothers, the final House of the Dragon Season 3 filming leaks, and Dunk and Egg pre-launch info from scrutinizing interviews the showrunner gave when they put out the first trailers. Just a few interesting things he said of what their approach is going to be. I've been behind schedule. Well, I made another video back in late November to explain why I was already behind schedule then. We were all stunned and tired after all the yelling at the end of House of the Dragon Season 2. We were demoralized. And I'm really annoyed that I basically got nothing done for another 9 months after that. Then again, no one else really got much done either. That it wasn't until Season 3 filming reports came out that I had just new stimulus to work on something else. First week of this past May. I rebuilt myself around that. And the filming leaks are really encouraging. Problem is, we have that catch-22 that a lot of people are openly saying they were so upset they didn't even follow reports about the filming leaks. Well, if you don't follow them, how do you know they're bad? They were actually pretty good. In terms of anyone who saw them said, I do think I was productive in summer across all that filming. Not 100%, but as much as I could learning to walk again after being paralyzed for months. May, June, July, August, time well spent. Then September, I found out that there was this huge Dunk and Egg launch panel with the lead's showrunner and Martin himself coming to New York Comic Con, which is my backyard. I'm in the New York City area. But I couldn't get a panel accepted, and then I spent a month frantically trying to apply for... They have these things called content creator badges, which are basically for social media. Like if you're a YouTuber, you'll be in the general audience, but they'll let you get a ticket to get it, because they sold out already, and just to report on it. Very much at the last minute, I was able to get in. And it was entirely worth it, time well spent, but all of September was spent preparing for New York Comic Con. There's only ever going to be one launch panel. This was the launch panel. Also, I had never seen George R. R. Martin in person before. I didn't get to meet him, but just seeing him for the first time with my own eyes. Entirely worth it. That's also why I didn't make trailer breakdowns. Well, first off, there wasn't as much to break down. Second, the clips I posted from the panel were my report on the teaser trailer. That here's what... I couldn't put footage of the actual thing, but this is what the launch of the teaser trailer was like. That was my report. Then, as I said, the rest of October I had to make up the work days I took off for that, and then I had to travel out of state for a relative's wedding. That ate up a lot of time. I came back on the trip. Just as I came back, I got a light cold from it, which shot my speaking voice for 2 weeks. So it was only by mid-November that I was really in a position to report on things again for the first time since late August. So we're talking a gap of 3 months there, and I made a few things going, I'm really gearing up for things going into Thanksgiving holiday weekend in the United States. What happened since then? This is the new part. Well, a couple of separate things struck all at once, all in that same eventful week. That weekend we had a family medical crisis. Someone had an accident, it stitches, but they're fine now, but just it required a hospital overnight. I was nuts from that. That shot Thanksgiving weekend. But the real issue, that was a one-time thing. The real issue was 3 separate things happened the same day, Thursday, December 4th, when I was already behind schedule from the family thing. First off, we knew going in that December 4th, that Thursday, because it was Brazil Comic-Con, CCXP, we knew there was a big Dunk and Egg panel that the cast were going to, and that they would be releasing the full trailer there. We only got 2 trailers, the teaser, then the full trailer, so I knew there's going to be reporting coming, it's going to be busy. But as it so happens, that same day, I had a big work conference I had to go to. For workshops and things, all of my attention was on that. But I knew I'm not going to be able to have my laptop. I can at least, duck into the hallway, watch it on my phone, report on it later, maybe on the weekend. Then, by pure coincidence, later that night, the same Thursday night of the day that at 4 p.m. they released this Dunk and Egg trailer, in giant State of the Industry news came the surprise announcement that Netflix won the bidding phase for Warner Brothers over Paramount. Everyone thought Paramount was going to win. I had even prepared videos on this. Even then, I'd been following it, so I understood Paramount said they'd keep fighting even if they lost the bidding phase, well before the announcement. And even Netflix, to their credit, said it will take 2 years of fighting heavy government regulatory boards and restrictions before we're sure that we're going to get approval. Netflix admits we're not sure we're going to be able to get this through government regulations. Nonetheless, next day I saw people who were not paying attention to this, who didn't even know there'd been a bidding war going on for weeks, rushing online Friday to make empty speculation on, oh no, Netflix now owns Warner, and all HBO shows coming out in January will get binge-dropped on Netflix instead, in January. Okay, that was deeply irresponsible. You could have taken 5 minutes to Google a news article and read it off, and you didn't. Do some research. Then again, more than one other YouTuber came to me in private messages, because I know I'm one of the few who's really heavily following State of the Industry news for a Westeros franchise. More than one came to me in private and said, do you know what's going on? And I quickly explained, no, this isn't going to happen right away. We're not even sure if it will happen. All of that. So I was already busy with family stuff, the double blow of both Dunk and Egg and State of the Industry news on a day that I was at a work conference. And to top it all off, this was the first weekend of December. We're talking like it was December 7th by now. And I had 2 weeks left until Christmas break, which meant I had to now deal with the end of semester crunch. Both at work, where there's still stuff you have to finish by the end of the calendar year, there was a crunch there. And a second crunch because I had signed up for a course this semester to finally learn Photoshop. Because no one's going to train you in Photoshop that you have to... Jobs expect you to know that now, even if I'm not a computer designer. I do other things. So I've been annoyed about that, and plus it would help my channel, so I finally took a Photoshop course, bought a copy of it. I hope to use it on like title cards and things a bit, maybe in the future. That's what I've been doing for the past semester, going to Photoshop courses, which ate up some of my time, but it was time well spent as a learned skill that is now part of my repertoire. But 2 weeks out from the end of the semester, I had to work on the final project, and I was really losing time, so I said there's work stuff, Photoshop course stuff. These other 2 things, I can't even decide, do I do the Dunk and Egg stuff first or the State of the Industry stuff first? I'm behind on both of them. So much stuff piled up. I said I just have to focus on the work and Photoshop stuff, the coursework. That this is still going to be here, the Dunk and Egg stuff and the State of the Industry stuff by Christmas break. And I've seen other channels making similar remarks in public, that too much news piled up too fast at the same time. I mean, Quinn the GM, for example, was following the Warner Brothers news in real time. I was talking about it with him on Twitter. It's just, well, as he said, every couple of days there's some massive change to this ongoing Paramount versus Netflix story, so I've had to throw out whatever I scripted, he said. Plus, as Quinn publicly said, he is doing finals he's in law school. So everyone was really busy with end of semester stuff. It was a changing situation on top of that, which was changing every few days. No one was really able to get any reports done in the end of semester crunch, and this is just a bad time for big news to come out. So, the three things I wanted to do. Because I'm so late, I'm pushing the final House of the Dragon Season 3 filming leak reports into the Dunk and Egg season itself, rather than dump them all today, because it's only about a half a dozen. They're not actually that long, it's just I have zero time. About a half dozen points that came out when filming wrapped on October 12th. At the final wrap, we got about a half a dozen new things. Not spy photos, but just reliable reports from people who gave reliable reports before. And I only really need to dash those off as like a 10-minute video each, audio only, would be enough for each of them. Now, the real issue is putting together a video report on my fully updated Season 3 episode-by-episode outline. Again, many were not paying attention to these, but if you did, they were reassuring. So my hope is that at least, other YouTube content creators will pick up on this as a summary of a year's worth of filming news. Hopefully I might change some minds into giving Season 3 a chance, because anyone who was following the filming news felt reassured. So, it's that odd balance that I wanted to be done before Dunk and Egg, but many more people will be watching during Dunk and Egg, so maybe this is for the best. No, my real focus, because no one else is reporting on this, is I made an in-depth series of about half a dozen full-length State of the Industry videos, explaining what's going on with Netflix, Paramount, and Warner. I was really frustrated at the misinformation going around. This is my rebuke by making a thorough report. But time is running low, and I also wanted to report on Dunk and Egg advance info before it actually airs. And it's like, originally, not from the trailers, but from showrunner interviews, I made this list of about 24 points that he mentioned. My idea was to put out a 5-minute video per day, every day leading up to Christmas break, like an advent calendar. That didn't happen. But some of it was me thinking of things to say to expand and split off into a shorter video. I condensed that down into about 4 videos thematically, which I can race off audio only. It's like 10 to 15 minutes of, well, these are the important parts. The other things, like certain things about the art style or costuming, that'll come up more in the actual season, so I might as well leave that. But there's about 4 or 5 videos that I wanted to get to of things Ira Parker said about their structural approach to the show, which were all encouraging, just don't want to go over them before it actually airs. And on top of that, I need to make a pair of videos going over the new cast and crew, which is short. It's not as big of a cast and crew as House of the Dragon, but just like, who are the new writers, directors, costume designer, production designer? I like covering such things to go, oh, this is where you might know them from. I have to race that off in the coming week, because there is a time limit to it. So I'm probably going to end up putting some of the State of the Industry stuff also during first week of Dunk and Egg, and then do the House of the Dragon stuff later. At least I will have active content mixed in with my Dunk and Egg reviews and lore videos, But this is all of the near-term stuff. Things that came up during the fall that I wanted to get done earlier, stuff came up. Things to get done for House of the Dragon Season 3 filming wrap, Dunk and Egg prep, and State of the Industry. Oh god, Warner might be being sold or something. Next comes the middle term stuff. What's coming the rest of 2026? Well, we have House of the Dragon Season 3 coming in June, and due to various disasters, I never managed to get a head start on lore videos for Seasons 1 or 2. I was always frantically finishing up filming reports pretty much right up to the premieres. Now, because Dunk and Egg won't generate much backlog, the goal is that we reach the end of it by the start of March, and then I would have about 4 months between the end of Dunk and Egg and the start of House of the Dragon Season 3. 4 months advance to work on lore videos. I have never had that much of a lead before. I was always frantically doing filming reports right up until they aired. So that's what I'll be trying to do, spending those 4 months in the spring working on lore videos to tie in, because I already have an episode by episode guide. I kind of know what's coming up, the bigger points that are coming up to talk about.